All right, Mr. Invader. I hope to God we're where we need to be now. Well, basically, when I got this here, I can see why it was sounding. I can see why your audio was sounding bad on the other end because where's it at? Did it fall on the ground? Maybe it did. Oh God, where did it go? There it is. Oh, this 69. Oh, big boys race our young girls, but violent generally. 68. There was a 68 ohm resistor along with the 10 right here, so you can pretty much say it'd be like having a variable in turned almost all the way down. He had a little bit too much resistance for my taste on the input, and even with a 2 watt dead key, you barely had a dead key. It was pretty much all swing, so that's why it didn't sound good on the other end. Now I have simulated my radio here exactly like your radio at the house. You said you're dead keying about 2 watts, okay? 5 watt slug, 2 watts. Looking at the middle scale. 2 watts, okay? You said yours was like in between a watt and a half, 2 watts, something like that. Well, when I key this amp, you'll see my radio fall back just a little bit on the dead key. See, just a little bit. So I've got the radio at 2 watts. Now I usually always leave my stuff at 1 watt, but I want this to be simulated just like yours on your bench. Okay. Now, other changes I did go ahead and make in here is I added a 10 ohm right here on this side of the transformer to ground. It helped a little bit with the output and stabilize that 1 pill section just a little bit. Another thing I went ahead and did is I dropped the 68 right here down to 33. And see, and the reason why we're attenuating this at all is because one thing Early did make a really good point of is this actual board's ground plane is nowhere near as good as it could be if it was on a solid board, a solid copper board. Now, to help mitigate that just a little, what I went ahead and did, which these actually come like this factory. If you look down there, see that tab? I put a tab from the pill right here over to ground on the 2 middle transistors. There to there, and then there to there. Okay? It would have been a little bit harder to do it on any of the other ones. I probably could have done it right here to this one. But that right there will help a good bit with the ground clamp, because what that's doing is it's connecting that part of the ground, that trace of the ground, directly to the heat sink, trying to utilize this heat sink as a ground plane as much as possible. Okay. I did double check the input tune, and it's tuned as good as it can be. Another thing I went ahead and did is your high, low, and medium, man. This is what was designed for what it used to be, all 1446s. Like you'll notice on low, you had like nothing. The amp pretty much didn't do anything. And then on medium, they didn't hardly do nothing at all for you. So I changed those values to something more acceptable to where you do have a valid low and medium now. Let me show you. All right, we're just going to look at the dead key for now. This is 2 watts in, almost 100 watt dead key out. Okay, we're on 14.4. All right, we go over to medium. That's going to drop you down to drop you down to about a 30 watt dead key. And on low, drops you down to almost nothing. That's dead key now, okay? That's dead key. So you probably won't run the low much. But if you ever have a radio that's got a bit of a higher dead key than this, low might come in handy. Now, output wise, now keep in mind when I'm about to show you, this amp does more output. I'm just showing you on 14.4 volts on my small power supply, okay? This amp will still do a kilowatt if it's driven hard enough, but that ain't what we're really wanting to achieve. You're not really wanting to see a kilowatt out of this. It's going to get hot kind of quick, and I'm not saying it can't do it. I would try to look for 700-800 watts. If you can get that much out of it, you're in a good spot. You're in a good place. All right, 1,000 watt slug right here for peak. Go. See, we're right there, right at 700 watts. Right at 700 watts. Go. A little bit over 200 bird. Input reflect. Go. Well, turn that around. Oh yeah, real good and low on the input reflect. All right, now I've been sitting here hammering on this thing, man. Like I said, I'm not letting this leave my sights till I really put this cat and picker through a good test, and that's what I've been doing yesterday and today. I literally ceased all work that I should be doing on this table right here just for this. I've been checking the temperature. Everything seems to be getting warm uniformly around this amplifier. If I hook this up to the iron core over here on the medium tap, it's doing about 850, no problem. So I'm just sitting here, just been hammering, just like you see right here. Oh, 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. I don't know why that thing is not focusing. No. See, I'm not swinging for RMS. That's why you're not seeing a lot on the RMS end, because I'm dead keying 2, swinging about 3 watts RMS with my carrier growth. So that's why you're not seeing a lot of forward swing RMS. You know, if I hook up the bench radio, the hot radio, my next radio, you know, they'd be swinging 300-400 bird or whatever. But that's not what we're real worried about. What we're worried about is the audio sounding good from this thing, and that is why your audio wasn't sounding as good. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, you had hardly no dead key, you know. This amp's been a nightmare for you, man. I hate it. I know you have another amp over there that's the same exact amp minus the driver. It's just got 4 1446 and it's still been working all these years while you've been having problems with this. I mean, I don't get it, man. That little Metamorphosis upgrade I did for this years and years and years ago, I've done it for many other Boomer 600, Palomar 600s. I don't even recall any of them ever even coming back off the top of my head. It's just sometimes there's just something about certain amps. I mean, it's a mixture of the amp or how it's being run, and sometimes, man, you just have bad luck, you know? Me personally, for this to be as safe as it possibly can be, I would just turn it into a straight 4 like this. But there again, your radio is not going to drive it hard enough for you to get what you really want out of it. Just keep this on a small radio, man. You know, don't drive it hard. This ain't gonna, you can get $1,000 out of this, man, but is it going to last? You know, is it going to cause problems because the ground plane of this board? I don't know. This was designed to be a 600 watt amp, pretty much. We've upgraded this thing and it can easily do over a kilowatt now. But I think that's about it, all I did. The only other things I did was I took these tiny 10 ohms and put some bigger ones in there, and the only reason I did that was because we have been noticing sometimes the 10 ohms can run a little warm on HGs and start to discolor, and the HGs are not blown. It's the weirdest thing, man. I've actually seen 10 ohms completely go up and blow. All four on a 4-pill, and all the pills are still fine with HGs. But I'm still going to hammer this for a little bit more and just look around in here. And, oh, I did notice one last thing I did do. I looked in here, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, there ain't hardly no filter caps on the hot bus. I'm like, I wonder why I didn't notice that before and do something about it. There was one filter cap. This is just the filter noise right here. That little green cap right there is from the factory. So I went ahead and added you 4 104s on the hot bus. Those are these little yellow caps. That's just for filtering on your hot line. All right, man. I'm gonna hammer this thing I'm gonna hammer this thing a little bit more, and I'm gonna put the bottom of it and then turn it upside down and then hammer it some more like that with the bottom on. All right, buddy. God, I hope this is gonna be your last time, brother. Mr. Invader. Before I send this out, I'm gonna put my hand on this thing and really pray over it. Really pray over it this time. Do not want this thing to have to come back. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you like this, man. If you have, look at that. Oh, granddaddy long leg. If this thing has to come back, if you have another problem with this amp, bro, if you have another issue with this amplifier, no questions asked. If you decide to send it back to me, I am converting it to a straight 4. I'm doing it. I have converted quite a few of these to a straight 4, but they were 1446s and stuff with no issues. But if you have another issue, I'm converting it to a straight 4, and that'll be the last try. But just don't drive it hard. We got the input attenuated on this thing. I need to try it on. I need to talk with it on air, but I don't have an antenna up right now. I got a 10-meter antenna, but that's not going to cut it. I need to get me an antenna up pretty bad. I'm thinking about taking that 10-meter dipole down and building a quick 11-meter dipole and putting that up. All right, bud. Hopefully you won't see me come back. It means I ain't have no more problems if this is the last video you see in this clip. Thanks for hanging in there with me, Mr. Invader, the GK, backing out.